Morning, everybody. This is Susie Ellis interviewing Alan Rich on Friday, the 18th of September, on the Fed decision and the markets today. Morning, Alan. Would you like to tell us what's been happening?
Good morning, Susie. Yes, what happened was that I've been writing this up in my blog during the week at alanrichtrading.com. When you're day trading, what happens is that you're not only going out and getting your day's money, but you should be reading what's going on behind the scenes. And what started happening a number of days ago was that the futures market started buying the rumor. And the rumor was that the Fed wouldn't raise rates. So they bought the rumor and they went on a lovely run with it. And then when the news came out, they made a spike and they sold it off into the close. So what they did was they bought the rumor and then they sold the news at the last part of the day.
Okay, just to explain to people who might not know what you're talking about, because it sounds quite technical. Who bought the rumor? What were you looking at? Were you looking at stocks? Were you looking at currencies?
I was looking at the S&P.
And do you mean they bought in and they went long and then sold off as soon as the announcement came out?
Okay, I'm looking at the S&P futures. Almost everything in the world as regards general markets is reflected in the S&P futures. Okay. So what they did was they started buying the S&P futures. And remember, stocks are going to follow what the S&P futures does. That's, the very big blue chips. And so they started buying it. And then when the news came out, they sold into that news. So they carried on with the rumor. Then when the news came out, they made the spike. And the last part of the day, they sold it hard right into the close. Okay, so
so how are they? Do you mean that they were taking advantage of all the people that were long?
If you want to put it like that, yes. Okay, so the market operates in an irrational way. It doesn't work the way that we think it should work.
Okay, so it's best not to have an opinion.
Yeah, so that's right. Excuse me. It's best not to have an opinion. The idea is that, right, it's not the news, it's the reaction to the news, which I've said before.
Yeah.
And so we've had the news, they bought the rumor, and then they sold the news, and now we wait to see what the follow-on is. So now the news is out, right? What's going to happen next? Are they going to be buyers or are they going to be sellers? And Europe are not buying this market. Asia are not buying this market. The only people that are buyers and have pushed this market up in recent days has been the US. So when you look
how have you found that out? How do you know that Asia and Europe aren't buying? Is it on the size of the market or what?
No, if you look at the S&P futures, it's a 24-hour contract, and you can see exactly what all of the world is doing. So when the US finishes, you can see what Asia's doing. You can see what Europe's doing. So I'm looking now and I can see what Europe's doing. So I can see the sell-off now in the US at the end of the day, and I can see what Asia did, and I can see what Europe's doing.
So they took no notice.
Yeah, they're a bit flat. So what happened? And in the last few days, as we went up, the only session that was moving everything up was the US. So it was only the US that were buyers. So really what we have to wait for next is to see what happens when we follow on from this news. Do the US continue to be buyers, or will they sell into this? So if let's say you're an institution and you remember the last drop a few weeks ago, well, if you want to sell, you don't sell down at the lows. You'd rather sell when it's moved up at the highs, and you sell into strength. So you buy into weakness and you sell into strength.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've got the strength, and it's going to be down to whether the institutions decide to take that opportunity to sell. And it will be in the US session that we will see what they do.
Okay, so what happens on a Friday then now? What do you think? Not that we're supposed to have an opinion, but how do you see the afternoon session today going, or do you think they'll all just wander off?
Well, no, this is the follow-on, and so you got to look at the US session. So they were the only people buying it on the way up, and now we've got to see exactly what happens. Are they sellers? So what happens is that a day trader will start day trading it, and underneath what's going on, so he's going to be taking smaller moves to looking for his day's money. But underneath, if he or she starts looking for the bigger picture, what's truly going on underneath here? Are they buyers? Are they undecided? Or are they sellers? And so while he or she is day trading, they should get that. I mean, I sent you, didn't I, when I was day trading, and I sent you my entry and I made about 350 points. Yeah. And I showed you, so I was just day trading, making my day's money. Then all of a sudden, I realized that they were buying the rumor. So I held on to that position. It ran for a couple of days and made about 350 points. Well, the same thing will happen today. I'll just be day trading the US session, but then while I'm trading that US session, I'll get a feel for whether really, are they buyers, are they sellers after the news, after the Fed news has come out. So realistically, when you think about it, it should be good for the market. Okay, so they're not raising rates, so it should be good. Well, if the US starts selling it, you know something is really badly wrong underneath. So there are a lot of...
So could you would you mind posting that chart on the Facebook page, Forex Trade School?
Yeah.
So that people can see where you pinpointed that turn. Because I think it'd be helpful for people to look at the actual chart that you sent me. Okay. For their own analysis point of view, in case they ever see that sort of move again.
Okay, so it's today that is the follow-on, and it's a decision. Are they, they drove it all the way up. Now, are the institutions going to dump things into this move up, or are they going to be buyers? So, all right, so that is the underlying story underneath. So day traders are going to be taking all their small moves and everything, but underneath they should be looking to see what's really going on here. Are they buying this market or are they selling? If they're selling, then I should imagine that quite a few day traders will just get their stop to break even and just let it run, which is a bit like I played the move up. So I was day trading it. All of a sudden I found they were buyers. So I just left my positions open. It ran 350 points in about 2 days. Okay, now the same thing will happen this afternoon. I'll be day trading it, but underneath I'll be looking for the true direction.
Okay, so when you're looking for what you call the true direction,
yeah,
we're running into traditionally a time where October to March things sort of consolidate direction-wise. Is that right?
Yes, I mean normally, right, you should start running in October. Things should be good from October to March. But on the other hand, if you get a really big sell-off, it tends to come in October. So, remember some of the crashes, years ago, they all tend to come about the beginning of October. And then
Why do you think that is?
Well, I don't know. I think what happens is that they all come back off their summer breaks. They digest what's going on, and then they make a conscious decision about, is this market overvalued, or is it undervalued? Can we go for a run? Is it a buying opportunity into Christmas, or are things really bad and we're going to sell it off? Now, if you get good news coming out, like the Fed not raising rates, the market should go up. But if it doesn't, there's something fundamentally wrong underneath.
Okay, so the institutions,
yeah,
do they act independently, or is there some sort of chat between them?
I mean, no. I mean, people talk to each other, but they make their own decisions, don't they? And so there's going to be a consensus of opinion. you know, if institutions think they can pick up stocks cheaper at the end of the year, then they're not going to be buying now. So it's a consensus of opinion. Is this market, you know, cheap, or are we going to go up, or should we go down and pick it up cheaper later on? Is the market overvalued at the moment? Okay, and you'll see that in the price action that goes on, you know, in the coming days. And it's up to a trader to assess exactly where the sentiment is.
Okay, Alan, thank you very much for your thoughts today. So, traders, look very carefully at what's happening and make a decision about whether or not the market is overvalued. Thank you, Alan, and we'll talk again soon. We'll put on Twitter probably Monday morning about 10 o'clock for the next instalment. Thank you.
Thank you.